Hey, this is Robert here again at Goozy Fabrication, and a huge shout out to my DIY family out there working on your projects at home. Now today we are on the Camaro. Got a great upgrade scheduled for it today, and I want to bring you along and show you how to do it, walk you through it step by step. Now this is one of the most cost-effective, beneficial upgrades you can do for your project. And we're going to be installing a one-wire alternator today. I'm going to walk you through all of the steps. We are going to go from this 70 amp stock alternator with all of these wires. We're going to eliminate those. Now this is an internally regulated alternator. If it was an older model, it would have even more wires. We can eliminate all of those. We are going to upgrade to this 100 amp one wire alternator. Now I've got everything laid out that we need for this conversion to make a fast and easy installation. Now there are some do's and don'ts when we're going from all of this to a one wire. Now we're going to go over all that. I'm going to walk you through all of the steps. And well, first let me explain, why are we even doing this? Why are we getting away from our stock alternator? Now this alternator is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it, unless on your project you're adding electric fans, higher output stereo system, power windows, high output fuel pumps. Well, now you're placing a greater demand on your stock charging system. You need a higher output or higher amp alternator so that nothing bad happens in your electrical system. Yeah, that's fires, melted wires. Those are never what you want to have happen. And that's why we want to switch to a high output, high performance alternator. Now, these start at 100 amp and go all the way up to 220 amp. And that's going to allow your charging system to meet the additional demands placed on it and keep you and your project safe and happy. Hey, you can help support the channel. The online store is now open. Consumables, tools, supplies, everything you see me use in the videos, they are available in the online store. The link is in the description. Now the first thing that we need to do, these are the wires that were clipped coming out of the harness. So we need to secure those. We don't want to leave any bare wire. We don't want to tape electrical tape around those. We want to secure those nicely. This is how I like to do it, fast and easy. Just fold that wire over. Now we want to leave the wire in the insulation. We don't want to strip that. We have a length of shrink tubing. Center that up. You can use a heat gun, whatever method you like to use to shrink the tubing. Now that's a fast, easy way to secure the wires coming out of the harness that we have cut. Now this is a step you don't want to skip. So in the instructions, it calls for a ground strap, which I have made up, and we're going to attach that to the back of the alternator case right here. And then the other end is going to go to the engine block. We want to make sure that our housing is grounded properly. Okay, let's get this thing installed. I went ahead and installed the alternator. It installs exactly the same as the original. You remember our ground strap that goes to the back of the case? We're going to bolt that ground strap directly to the head. Now we'll come back and tighten that down. Now our housing is properly grounded, and that is going to give us the maximum performance out of our new high output alternator. Now, one thing you don't want to do is over tighten the fan belt. That'll burn out the bearing in the alternator. The way that I check it, I still have some play here, maybe 1/2 inch. Now, if this is too loose, you can turn it too freely, well, you're not going to charge correctly. And if the belt is too tight, well, then you'll ruin your brand new alternator. So we're down to wiring this thing up and finishing it out. This is where the one wire alternator shines. Okay, so you remember our stock alternator, multiple wires. Well, let me show you something else I found. Yeah, there's starting to be corrosion in the connectors. So the fewer the wires, fewer electrical wires, the fewer the electrical potential issues. And that's just another reason why this conversion is such a smart move and a great upgrade. Okay, let me show you how fast and easy this is. We're going to take one wire. We're going to connect that to the battery. And then we're going to connect the other end to the charge post or lug on the back of the alternator. And it is that simple, that easy. We're doing away with all of these other wires. One wire, fast and easy. And another very important part of this conversion, choosing the correct gauge wire to run from the battery to the alternator. To make that easy, we have a chart. Now you can pause that, keep that for reference, and that will help you choose based on the length of wire, the correct gauge that you need to use for your conversion. So when installing this wire, we could just hook onto our positive lug there and cheap out and run it right over here to our battery. But you know, that's not how we do things. What we're going to do is install it into this split tubing, and then we're going to run it down and kind of hide it and come up along the battery cable to the post. And this split tubing, it's really easy to install. It opens right up like that. Now the split tubing, it adds protection against heat and damage to your wire insulation. And this is how you install it. Getting it started and start working it. And that's how it will look when it's all installed. And you want to make sure you give yourself plenty. You don't want to cut it off too short. Better cut it off a little bit long. And it's as easy as getting a sharp pair of scissors, clipping it. Now you're done. When we go to attach our cable to our lug, now this cable, the terminal, is offset. So we want to make sure we have the correct orientation. We don't want to install it and tighten it down like this, because now we're going to short out on the case. We want to double check, always double check and make sure that it is in the correct position before we tighten anything down. So we're going to sneak our cable through the backside. Make sure we have the correct orientation. Install our nut. Now we don't want to tighten it down just yet. We just want to snug it up. Okay, so we want to think about our route, and what we're going to do, we're going to route it right alongside this battery cable, the positive battery cable. So we're going to do this. And we're going to hold this together with some zip ties. We'll come back later and clip the ends. We want to keep everything in alignment, making sure nothing's going to damage our wire or be in harm's way. Okay, now we've got a little bit of extra length here. So what we're going to do, we need about this much extra. Going to clip it a little bit longer than we need. We'll peel this back and we'll come back and we'll strip this, put a cable lug on the end of it, and then we're going to go right here and bolt it down. Then that will go right there, and then we'll be done. So we came back, tightened our lug, put our boot on. Now you can see we have a nice clean routing, and then that mates up to the positive battery cable all the way up to the terminal. Everything's really nice, clean, sanitary, and that is how easy it is to install a one-wire alternator and really upgrade your charging system.